Welcome to UC News, ucnewscanada.ca. The Canadian Crisis Response. I'm Dr. Dave. In a desperate attempt to cover up fraud and illegal criminal code activities at City Hall that have gutted the economy and destroyed the lives of tens of thousands of Quinte residents, the Mayor and Council have now launched an all-out attack on freedom of expression. Such behaviours of removal of fundamental rights critical to life are consistent with sociopathy, a permanent mental health disability in which the overarching brain functions that guide reason, justice, and balanced decision-making are absent. Such unbalanced individuals, with half the mental capacity of an average person, cannot act with judgment or care and believe that only they have rights, which they adamantly deny others. Only their ideas matter, though not grounded in physical reality or respect for the lives of others. Further displaying unresolved childhood misconduct disorder, characterized by the angry behavior of a 2-year-old when they do not get their way. Smashing hands into the table, screaming, "I'm the mayor, only I get to decide." Then in a fury, writing bylaws ordering everyone to silence and firing anyone who disagrees. Removing all public bulletin boards. Writing policies to ensure that all public events proposed by Quinte residents are pre-screened to go through him. All public postings and event content, including speech, must be pre-approved and are not allowed if he does not like what is said. In removal of freedom of expression, the local municipal election was rigged to ensure the public was not allowed to speak and no significant issues were ever raised. If citizens are allowed to speak at City Hall, then what they say does not matter. Ensuring participation in the democratic process is meaningless. Freedom of expression for the sociopath means the unilateral issuing of fines, fees, and threats directly tied to demands for silence as one of the many abusive antisocial, anti-justice strategies aimed at complete removal of recourse. If you want to find out what meeting rooms and event services the city has to offer, that too is secret. You are pre-screened for deep pockets and the approved event content before you are allowed to pay to find out. Librarians not allowed to do their jobs of providing information. Social services not allowed to fulfill their ministry mandates of maintaining healthy social structures in government and across society. No one in local government is allowed to do their job of representing, defending, and working for citizens, fulfilling their duties under the Canadian Constitution Act, their job description. All not allowed to speak, all ordered to break the law. We do not say this without documented evidence, these being statements that anyone can test. All healthy social structures of care have been removed from City Hall, making it a hornet's nest of abuse, ranking high in the psychopathy checklist that no one wants to go near. In this mental health condition, the person smiles and says what you want to hear, then works furiously behind the scenes to do the opposite. Working against the law and the justice system, sociopaths are incapable of reason or expressing care. Disregarding reasonable solutions for the sole purpose of demonstrating power. Instead, creating policies expressing hate that destroy lives and the basis of the economy in massive Section 15 violations of life and law that have left our downtown in tatters. Taking care to craft a public face as a cover, yet they cannot help but express who they actually are in writing and policy, with citizens forced into deep poverty by bylaws with no basis in law that rip apart our lives while imposing insane expenses, taking taxes by force, spent on matters having nothing to do with any purpose of legitimate government. In direct cause and effect, the bylaws and operations of City Hall now express textbook DSM-5 definitions of sociopathy, denying essential rights to life, aiming to hold the power of life and death over others, that being the intent and effect of the sociopathic mind, working in disrespect and contempt, claiming rights and freedoms adamantly denied others. These being the key characteristics of slavery, aiming to remove freedoms, autonomy, and fundamental rights to life. Such extremely abusive individuals are incapable of fulfilling the duties of office required by Section 1 of the Canadian Constitution Act, being further unfit for duty under the Ontario Mental Health Act. Yet Quinte residents know that under the Canadian Constitution Act, freedom of expression is inclusive of free speech, but far more powerful. Anyone who has a child or a dog knows that we express ourselves not just verbally, but in many ways. These are the broadest communication rights, covering the full range of human expression, from pre-verbal children to the blind, from art to architecture, fully encompassing freedoms fundamental to the healthy human condition, covering expression of thought, personality, languages, and culture. Under Section 1 of the Canadian Constitution Act, requiring decision-making based not only on justice as a primary government service, but requiring fact, evidence, and reason, demonstrating a firm grip on physical reality. The mentally ill cannot provide these services. Applying Section 1 to reasoned decision-making, which is the fundamental cognitive process of problem-solving, Section 2, freedom of belief, is distinct from freedom of religion. Section 7 is also clear that decision-making must be based on the fundamental physical realities of life, these being the physical needs of growing food, having a place to live, a place to work and sell things, this being the basis of our lives that the mayor attacks to remove our freedoms and destroy the basis of life security, these being hate crimes. Again, we remind viewers that all UC News episodes are fully based on a complete case of Section 1 fact and evidence presentable to the Supreme Court of Canada, and under Section 11, as well as Section 7 of the Charter, open for public involvement, holding in highest regard our Section 1 constitutional standards of presenting verifiable fact and evidence in the context of societal care. In respect for Article 12 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, not naming individuals but referring only to the role. We do not know and do not care who the individual is, but are concerned only with the bylaws written and the actions taken by the incorporated legal person of City Hall, concerned with its personality and behavior in all matters of intent and effect, the effect on citizens revealing the intent. Understanding that freedom of expression is far more powerful than freedom of speech, for in this we have the right to not just speak, but act. We all believe in things we cannot see, touch, or feel. Imaginary ideas of point, line, and plane, defined as unprovable, infinitely small, thin, and long. Yet describing how we write and draw, providing a basis in integers for counting distinct objects, and rulers defining distance between points, including time, a basis for motion, and a physics in which we make measurements, drawings, and move on to construction and building. from the realm of ideas to the realm of action. This is how we express ourselves, making our hopes, dreams, and ideas manifest within the constraints of the physical world, providing a basis for accurate and thus truthful descriptions of the physical world under Section 1 of the Canadian Constitution Act, presentable as fact, proof, and evidence in a court of law, encompassing the honesty of the carpenter, striving for the quality of straight, square, plumb, and true, with honesty and truth being the basis of much of the criminal code, with the removal of this universal virtue being lies, fraud, theft, abuse, and trickery, degrading our lives and all of society. We despise liars, crooks, and thieves, rejecting as unfit for duty all those who lie and want money but do not want to work, instead setting their sights on attacking the lives of those who do work, this being fraud and theft under the Criminal Code of Canada, expressed as massive Section 15 inequities, actively removing freedoms and destroying the lives of citizens. Taking up our responsibilities under the law to create a second City Hall online, directing our employees in government who live on our social assistance as to the work they must do for us under the law. This being how we legally express ourselves in a healthy, functioning, democratic society.